lots of our customers are struggling to keep their workforces full, to get enough people in the door on a day in and day out basis to meet the demands of their customers.
Hi there. Welcome to Let's Talk Packaging. Pack Worldwide is excited to bring what we know and add it into your toolkit for flexible packaging needs. I'm Donald Anderson, your host for this inaugural season of the Let's Talk Packaging podcast, and we can't wait to bring you each industry expert's wisdom in the coming weeks ahead. This week, Greg Williams has joined us, PAC's resident expert on our automation technology that we have here at Pack Worldwide, and we're going to dive into what it is that makes the PACjacket machine something special for the flexible packaging marketplace, and where we've brought it from, where it is today, and where we're going to go in the future. Greg, thank you for joining me. I'm really happy to have you here. And if you don't mind telling us a little bit about yourself, introducing yourself so our listeners can get a feel for who they're listening to today.
Sure. Thanks a lot for having me, Donald. As you mentioned, I'm Greg Williams. I am the Associate Director of Automation for PAC Worldwide, and my core responsibility at this company is the PACjacket program and enhancing and growing our opportunities out in the marketplace for the PACjacket system.
You've been with PAC for how long now? Is it a couple years?
I've been with PAC for about a year and a half, so
Okay.
Since July of 2019.
Yeah, time flies. I remember we first met, I think, one of your first couple weeks with the company at a conference, and it was great to have you on board. It was exciting, the opportunity that you were stepping into. I know for automated packaging. What has that looked like the last 18 months? Where have we? Let's say prior to February 2020, we can get into what 2020 has been like. Prior to February 2020, what did your role look like from start to the trajectory it was going at that point?
Yeah, no, it's definitely been interesting, and it's been an amazing growth opportunity. So I came in and took on this program, which one of our other people had been running, and among other things that were under their responsibility. So for me, it was the first time that anybody had a sole responsibility for this program as their exclusive job and mission within the company. So I was essentially taking on a new role and starting from scratch and building from there. And it's definitely been, it was a steep learning curve at first, getting used to the organization. We have a very unique automation offering that is different than anything that I had ever been a part of in the past. So there was definitely a learning curve to get into that piece of it. But after a period of time, I was able to get adjusted, get used to our team, which we have a phenomenal team and culture at PAC, and I've really felt like I've become part of that, and also I've become part of the success that we've had with growing and developing this program.
Yeah, so I guess for our audience that maybe doesn't know what a PACjacket machine is, can you give us your 60-second, 90-second elevator pitch? What is it? What is the PACjacket, and what makes it special compared to other things in the marketplace?
Absolutely. So the PACjacket system is a high-speed, on-demand bubble mailer system. It right sizes the mailers to the size of the product that's being packed. In most applications, you're scanning an item, placing it into the system. A label is printed and applied to the bag, and the operator cycles the system. And you're able to do that at a rate of anywhere between 15 to 20 packages per minute. So it's really fit for operations that are high-speed fulfillment operations that are looking to achieve a high level of throughput and optimize their labor and keep up with the steep demands that they're experiencing through their e-commerce business.
Now, we normally see fulfillment rates be something like 1.5 to 2 packages per minute. Is that right?
Yeah, and it can range depending on the customer and what their current setup is and what processes they have in place. But I see some anywhere between 1 to 2 packages per minute with a manual packing process.
How has obviously 2020 has turned into something unexpected, and that could be unpacked in a whole lot of different ways. But certainly in the packaging industry, something unexpected. Um, I asked you earlier to talk before pre-February 2020, but what has 2020 become? How has the PACjacket fit into what 2020 became, and then what 2021 is going to continue to be, as we're not looking at any kind of slowdown, at least not in the foreseeable future?
Yeah, certainly. It's been an extremely interesting year. Heading into 2020, I think we're seeing a really strong demand for packaging automation, people looking to optimize their operations. But with the pandemic and some of the side effects of that within the e-commerce industry, everybody's staying at home, not going out to stores as much, a reduction in sales at brick and mortar, and an increase in online sales. It's definitely put a stress on the entire system of the fulfillment industry as a whole. And they've been looking for solutions on how can they optimize their labor force, how can they get more packages out the door. And it's been really interesting how that's impacted our business because we have a perfect solution for that. And we've had more and more opportunities come up throughout the year, more people looking for exactly what we have to offer. So it's been extremely busy. It's been different, very different when you're selling to people over a Teams environment or video chat or phones versus going in person, which is what we typically do in this segment of business, automation. Uh, it's definitely been a unique experience, but our team has rolled with all the changes and has been able to adapt, and it's been a successful year for us.
This year being a virtual selling, it's been a quick learn for those who weren't familiar with virtual selling. Where has distribution fit in with that? I know we sell quite a few of our PACjacket machines through distribution, and so when we're facilitating that through virtual selling parameters, how has that conversation went on? And do you have any tips for any of our distribution reps out there on how best to approach the PACjacket sale from a distance?
I would say that our distribution network is one of our strong points as an organization, and we're very lucky to work with some great organizations that are out there. And I think a lot of them have done a phenomenal job pivoting during this tough time. Their customers have really relied on them to bring solutions that fit their needs. And the biggest thing with the folks that we've been successful selling with is they've been not afraid of this technology, not afraid of this socially distanced selling. We're going online, we're doing virtual demonstrations, we're having a lot of the conversations that we would have had in person in the past. We're doing it over the phone, and in some ways it's made us a little bit more nimble and able to move the process along a little bit further because we're not waiting, okay, we're going to have a meeting in 2 weeks and then we'll all come together. We can have that meeting in today or in 2 days and get the ball rolling a lot quicker than we may have even ever thought was possible in the past. And I think that our very strong distribution partners that have done well partnering with us on this program have been able to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great point. I know from my perspective and my past being out in the field with you and other sales reps that, it was a time intensive process just to scheduling and getting there in person. And that's made a big difference. That's terrific. Take us back pre you or I being at PAC. Can you tell us a little bit about the PACjacket, how it started? What solutions was it trying to solve when we first started thinking about creating a PACjacket machine, and where have we kind of developed it over the years? Can you kind of take us back a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So my understanding of the origins of the PACjacket system, and granted, I wasn't a part of the initial process, but PAC has always been a leader in the mailer segment, and particularly padded mailers with poly bubble mailers and craft bubble mailers and things of that nature. So our customers looked at us as a resource in that segment. And there was a gap that was noticed by our leadership team, Steve Foster and others, that our customers were asking for an automated solution in the padded mailer segment. And there just wasn't a whole lot of options out there. And we saw an opportunity to provide additional value to our customer base and give them something that didn't exist and that would really help them, especially as e-commerce continued to grow, and that we saw that there would be a need long term for this type of equipment.
How long has the PACjacket been around? I actually don't know this answer. Do you know how long we started bringing the PACjacket into different markets around the U.S.?
I believe the origin was somewhere around 2007 or 2008. And so for about 12 years.
We're now on the third generation of the PACjacket. We've evolved, I guess, since that first release of the PACjacket machine. Can you tell us a little bit about what this current generation is like in terms of where it came from in Gen 1 and Gen 2 and what we've added or refined since the initial concept was made?
So our first couple iterations of the PACjacket, Gen 1 and Gen 2, had a larger footprint. They were a little bit clunkier, and they're just the first generation of a new technology, and we saw opportunities to reduce the footprint. We saw some things that with customer feedback that we felt like needed to be addressed and to make this a better solution long term. And really the biggest change was going from a dual roll design to a single roll design that helped us reduce the footprint of our machine. It reduced the amount of changeovers required, i.e. downtime needed with the system. And it really helped separate us from what is out there with the rest of the marketplace. And that's what you have today. And that's what our customer base really is liking about the new generation of the system.
You mentioned footprint, and I know that is one of the more attractive things about the PACjacket is its lack of floor space that it takes up. What are some of the biggest selling points when you talk to a person who is learning about the PACjacket and the things that get them to really buy in on the concept and the use of their warehouse? What are some of the things that people keep coming back to as, man, I couldn't do without this feature?
I think the biggest initial selling point when looking at the PACjacket is the ability to optimize the human capital with this machine versus what you have today. People are a finite resource in today's environment with e-commerce. Lots of our customers are struggling to keep their workforces full, to get enough people in the door on a day in and day out basis to meet the demands of their customers. And when we talk about increasing fulfillment rates, and we're saying that you can replace 5 to 7 individual pack stations with one system, that's the biggest selling point. And then some of the other things that are really huge are the ability to right size the package with on demand with the sensors that detect the size of the product and create that package size. It allows you to optimize the number of SKUs of material that you have to keep on hand. And with our system, typically they're only going to have 1 or maybe 2 sizes maximum that they have to carry, when potentially they were using 6, 5,
Sure.
Different mailer sizes to accommodate, and maybe even more box sizes as well.
Sure. So Greg, tell me about the different things that we are adding to the capabilities of the PACjacket. I know there's been some different capabilities we've taken a look at just in the last 18 months that you've been here.
Absolutely. So our team is always looking to continuously improve our offering, and we have a great base machine, and we've looked at it and said, what else can we do with what we have? So we've looked at opportunities and have been successful running new substrates. We're capable of running a down gauge clear bubble material that works for replacing bubble out bags in certain applications, and that's something that didn't exist before. We've added the capability to run higher profile bubbles. So previous to the last 18 months, we weren't able to run anything beyond a 3/16 inch bubble. Now we can run up to a 1/2 inch bubble on our system. So for some of our customers that require additional protection, that's a huge benefit.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, we've introduced the capability to run our metallic cold chain material for temperature control applications. And that's something that we never had the capability of in the past. And that's definitely something that's exciting to introduce to the marketplace.
When it comes to our distribution customers and they want to go out and they are bought in on what the PACjacket is and the PACjacket's future, how do we start selling that? How do you encourage distribution reps to go out and start promoting, bringing the PACjacket machine to their customers? Are there parameters that you would give them, or is there advice you would give them to gain that confidence? And I'll have follow-ups off of that, but I'll let you take it from there.
I would say that PAC has a great number of resources available when it comes to the PACjacket. The first place I would direct you would be to our website, PACjacket.com.
Sure.
There's going to be a ton of information about the system that you could share with your customer base, PDFs that you can email and forward to them, videos, things of that nature. Second of all, I would leverage our sales team to help assist you with providing information to the customer base. And if we feel like we've identified a customer that could potentially benefit from our system, that's when we'll take them into our process, which involves collecting some data and putting together an ROI for them on our system, and to show them why this is something that makes sense. Why is it something that could benefit their business? And we have some pretty powerful tools that we can leverage to help them do that.
How soon in the sales process should a rep reach out to us? I mean, realistically, there is a point that's too soon, and there is a point that they should have done it weeks ago. At what point would you say is the ideal time for a rep to say, hey, I need you guys to come alongside me in this?
Our sales team is very happy to accommodate any questions as early on in the sales process as possible. And I would say it's never too early to really reach out, because the qualification of the customer is one of the most important parts of the sales process. So if we can help you identify early on whether that end user is a fit or if it's not a fit, then that's a great time to reach out to our team and get some information or some guidance as to who can benefit from this system and who can't.
Sure. To wrap us up, it's been a good episode so far, Greg, and thank you again for joining us. When we look out in the market, obviously we're not the only people out there with automation offerings. There's a variety of other companies that offer automated mailers of different types. What makes the PACjacket stand out as an offering against the other competition that you see, I see, our listeners see out in the marketplace?
I'd say there is a few things. So I mentioned earlier on that our system is really focused in providing a solution for a padded mailer that provides additional protection for a product. That would be the first thing. The second thing is we do this through a single roll heat seal system. So we're not putting any coatings on our material that would make the material no longer recyclable. And it can also make the material a lot heavier and more expensive. So that's a major benefit that differentiates our system versus other systems that are out there. So you're going to have a smaller footprint with the single roll design. You're going to retain that recyclability with the heat seal, and you're going to have a solution that is still sustainable and recyclable with that material that does not have any type of secondary coatings that are applied to it.
Awesome. Well, Greg, thank you again. It's been a good chat. I look forward to hearing any feedback we get from our listeners. Maybe there'll be a part 2 at some point down the road if we can get some good question feedback back. But thanks for your time. I appreciate it, and hope you have a great rest of your week, and hopefully see you out in the field some point here in 2021.
Absolutely. Thanks, Donald.
That'll be it for us on episode 5 of Let's Talk Packaging. Thanks again to Greg Williams for filling us in on the key components of the PACjacket machine and what makes it special for those looking to automate their flexible packaging needs. You can find us for questions and comments at PACjacket.com or searching for us on any of the relevant social media platforms. Pack Worldwide is the premium manufacturer of protective mailers and specialty packaging solutions for the courier, e-commerce, fulfillment, and distribution markets. Thanks for listening with us, and we'll be back soon.